Welcome back, Truth and Love Nation, to our Let's Talk About It segment, where y'all know what we do. We talk about it. We talk about the message that was just given by our pastor and leader, Pastor Cobie. And today, I'm joined by Mrs. Lass. How you doing today, Mrs.
Doing
Lass?
well. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for joining me.
Good to be here.
Thank you. Thank you. So today, Pastor's message was looking for a few good midwives. What do you think about first when you hear the word midwives?
Initially, when I saw the message of a few good midwives, of course, I thought about childbirth and all that that entails and making the preparation. And, I always try to, have in my mind, which way Pastor's, going to go with
Right.
this.
Can't keep up with him. Can't keep up with him.
And so, but the thing about this particular message that really stuck out in my mind was at the end. At the end, after he does his 2 hours, 20 minutes, 20 minutes sermon. And how does he put so much in 20 minutes? Amazing what he does. But at the end of it, he said that the midwives, because they were obedient to God, they were given families. So remember during the message, he was saying that they were like the head midwives, which is why he called them. Right. So, but they weren't midwives because of their experience, because they hadn't had any children yet, right? Because he said that they were blessed with families.
Right.
So they were put in a position and they didn't even have the experience. Right. So my question was, well, who trained them to be midwives? Right. And so these are the things that keep me saying, thinking about the message throughout the week. And then it also makes me want to go back and study just a little bit more and see, exactly where all this is coming from. Right. I think that's kind of a plug for School of Ministry. That's the School of Ministry part in me, my teaching, my training from my leader to ask the questions. Yeah. So it was like the path that he took to get to that point. I'm going to take it for the rest of the week and get to and answer those questions, And it was just so wonderful to show that sometimes even in our positions, when we are put in a position, it's not because of our experience. It's because that's where God is taking us to put us in that place for whatever time, for whatever season that he needs. And I just think it was just so, how he weaved that tale using, Joseph and all his experiences just to get to welcome to Moses.
Right. I'm glad you brought up Joseph because that's what I wanted to talk to you about, how he talked about. Now, Joseph was enslaved. He was in prison. Now, all this initiated with his brothers, right?
Right. Family.
How does it, family, right? But then Joseph is now put in a position, right, to now they're at his mercy, right? He can do whatever he wants to do with them, but he doesn't.
Right.
He doesn't. And he's to the point in his walk with God where he says, don't be angry because God sent me.
Right.
How powerful is that to go through all these things that as humans, especially us, we'll blame man for it. Man lied on me. Man got me to prison.
Oh, and they do lie.
And they do.
Lie now. They lie.
And they do. But it takes some maturity to get to the end of that and say, it was God that sent me here, not you. But he sent me here to preserve your lives. How does that make you feel? Know that God had positioned Joseph a long time ago to then be in the position he was in.
So when I think about the story of Joseph and how, all the things that he went through to put him in the position that he was in, my question is, this is where God wanted him. Would he have gone if God had just said, Joseph, get up and go?
Right. Or if he said, you're going to be in prison.
Yeah.
You're going to get lied on. You're going to get all the stuff.
He wouldn't have done all that. But and then think about it. If God had said, Joseph, I'm going to, this is your dream. I'm giving you this. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. And I just go to Egypt and stand there and say, hey, I'm Joseph. I'm second in command, and give me my position, I just think it was so how God weaves our lives and puts us through this incident and that incident. And each incident makes us stronger and pushes us into the place where he wants us to be. See, I used to think that I was real special, and I am. God loves me. He loves you. We're real special. We're God's children. But I used to have to have a brick wall before I would do what God wanted me to do. It was like I was in a maze, and I'm just going to go meandering around until I hit that brick wall, and I got to go this way. So that's kind of the life of Joseph. He had to do this. He had to do that to get to the end of the maze and all the things that he did during that part to get to where he needed to be for God to use him for his glory. That's just amazing. And I look at it and say, I'm going through my Joseph experience.
Right.
I've been fired. I've been lied on. I've been cheated on. I've been mistreated. I've been all that stuff. But I'm in a position now of where I can say it was God. Now look, I'm not what Joseph was.
Right.
I wanna like lay some hands.
Right,
I wanna
right,
chop somebody in their
right,
throat.
right.
But I don't,
Right.
because God has been so good to me.
Right.
And, you know, it's like I was telling somebody the other day, I was like, you know, God has shown me mercy. I'm going to show you mercy. So, you know, it's just awesome, you know, thing. And recently I read in a book that was saying, God don't waste no hurt.
So
God don't waste no hurt.
Right.
So if I'm hurting today, it's for his pleasure and his glory tomorrow. And that is something awesome. God be the glory.
Right. So he spoke to the kingdom and the body of Christ needing midwives, people to help support, people to help push. Do you think it's hard for believers to be in a position? So me and you midwives, we don't have families for ourselves, but our job is to help support women that's in families. How hard is that, especially for us today, with us having so many ambitions? We got these goals we want, but at some time, God wants us to help somebody else reach their goal.
You know, I come from a different perspective of that. I want to help people.
Right.
And the people that I'm assigned to, seemingly, when I want to help them, it's like they don't want to receive my help.
Oh, okay.
You know, so
okay.
I'm looking at it from a different perspective.
Okay.
You know, so yeah, I'm willing, God. I want to help. I want to minister. I want to sow into the people whose lives you've put me in.
Right.
But what do I do when they don't want to receive it?
Right.
So I just keep on going.
Okay. I was going to ask, how difficult is that? And I know that has to call for some prayer to say, God, you know, I'm doing what you told me to do to the people that you've assigned me to. But those people
don't want to hear. You know what I think the problem is? Unlike back in Joseph's day, maybe, well, you know, there's nothing new under the sun. But today I think people just don't go through enough.
Okay.
You know, because it's kind of hard to come to you, you know, for somebody to come to you and say, let me help you through this. And, I ain't got no problem.
Right. Okay. All right. So it's hard for us to even admit
we got problems. I'm blessed and highly favored.
Right.
But you're going through depression.
Right. Right.
Oh, I love the Lord, and everything is wonderful in my life.
Right.
But you're talking about people.
Right.
You're a little jealous.
Right. So why is that so hard for us to come out and say we're going through something, being that everybody goes through something? Why is that hard?
I don't know. I think God is just, sometimes I think the goodness of God and the favor of God and the mercy of God, you know, sometimes I think we take it for granted and we just don't want to ask for help because that would show our vulnerability. I mean, even if you look at the life of Joseph, you know, when he was a child, when he first started dreaming the dreams, he was out there, he was telling people about his dreams and stuff, and what they do, they almost killed the brother.
Making people jealous.
Yeah, and they almost, look what he went through. So me, if I'm reading Joseph, I ain't finna tell nobody nothing.
Right. I ain't telling nobody nothing.
I ain't telling nobody nothing. But the funny thing is that he needed to tell it for them to do what they did, for him to go where he went, for him to be where he was, to end up doing what God had him to do.
Right.
So it's just like Pastor said today. He said, you know, you run away from stuff just to come back to it. I'm tired of going around this mountain.
You got to go through it.
I'm tired of going around it. I've been around this mountain long enough. I'm sure he'll get to that when we get back to Moses next week.
So tell me this before you go. Tell me this: being that you teach in school of ministry, or let's say you're talking to a new believer, how do you convince them or show them how important being a midwife, being a spiritual midwife, is when you're in the kingdom of God?
The first thing I had to learn about accepting this ministry of the midwife, which we'll coin that today, but prior to the day, it was just being in the ministry, doing the will of the Lord. The first thing I had to realize, and to be effective in this area, was that I had to approach people without judgment.
Okay.
I can't come to you and say, you know, you need to stop smoking that dope. You know, you need to put that weed down.
Right. I got that.
And, you know, I had to come with, you know, and let me give you an example. I was in the store the other day, and I hate going to Dollar General. Worse than Dollar General, I hate Family Dollar.
Right.
Okay? So I went to Dollar General, and they was closed. And I'm like, Lord, remember, God takes you through things. Because I just told you I ain't going to Family Dollar.
Right.
But I went to Dollar General and it was closed. And I had to get what I had to get. I'm not going, definitely ain't going to Walmart. Definitely.
H-A-I-L.
H-A-I-L Walmart. I'm not going there. So I had to go to Family Dollar because I had to have what I had to have. Okay, I don't like Family Dollar as it is. Right. The store dirty, nasty people. It's a long line. Okay. I finally get what I go to get. It's not even there. Okay. What I want ain't even there at the store. Okay. All right?
So now you went where you don't want to go, and now what you're looking for ain't there. Okay.
And I'm still in the store. Now I go up, stand in this line, and this brother gonna come jump me. He gonna come stand right in front of me and say, "Oh, hey, I was here. I had to go out to my car." Okay, and let me describe this brother to you. Okay. All right. He had tattoos. Okay. He had pants hanging down his butt. Okay. He had smell like, some stuff.
Some cologne.
Yeah. Yeah. The weed version of cologne. Yeah. Okay. This is, remember I told you, no judgment. Okay. If you want to reach somebody, no judgment, right? Okay. So he coming in, he's about, this my spot. I was like, okay, but you left, right? So when you get out of line, you lose your spot. Right. Well, I'm just telling you I was here, and so I had to go out to my car, and so I came back, and I'm here, and I'm like, so you telling me you jumping me? Right. Remember, I'm already somewhere I don't want to be. Right. So I'm
about to say you already to that point. To that point.
And so then you gonna jump me on top of that? Right. So okay. So then he said, and then he was like, well, I'm just telling you, and he bucking up, Right. Hey, I don't back down now, bro,
Right. We know.
If we, we gonna do this. We gonna do this, right? But I'm saying to love. Matter of fact, I think I had on my Truth to Love shirt.
Oh, you better not act wrong with that shirt on. You better act like you got some sense. You got these shirts on in public.
So I said, you know what, bro? I said, you know what? God shows me grace every day. I'm gonna show you grace, and you just jump me in line. Ain't no big deal. Right. We going through, we talking. He's about, all right. I said, you from around here? See, he opened the door. Right. I said, you from around here? And he said, yeah, I live around here. I said, you live on the north side? I said, you know where Dunn Avenue is? He said, yeah. I said, well, let me invite you to, you go to church right here? Well, you know what? I should go to church. I know I need, anytime you talking to somebody about going to church, and they start scratching their head, you in, man. You in. Well, they told, I need to go to church. I said, well, let me invite you to Truth and Love Ministries. Okay. I said, we on 1989 Dunn Avenue, beside the Dollar General. Right. And he was like, yeah, well, where is that? I was like, and I had to go through this whole story, and somebody else in line said, yep, you opened the door, And I'm like, I'm witnessing to him. Right. And these other people are getting it. Yep. But check this out. Them probably were the same people that would have been there looking to see what I was going to do when he jumped me. You see what I'm saying? Right. So that's why you have to be non-judgmental. That was my assignment. It had to be my assignment for me to go to Family Dollar, because I don't ever go to Family Dollar. And then to end the story, talking about the path that God gives us, talking about, being there and discipling the people that God has assigned to you to do. Sometimes we go in some places that we don't want to go to meet the people that God has for us, that only we can reach. Right. Get up to the line. Guy go to swipe his card. Now listen, I know this guy won't change back, because he probably gonna go get him a dime bag. He need $13.
What's that?
And what? Oh yeah, that's right. I don't know. What do y'all call it now? What do they call it now? He was gonna get him some more stuff to smoke. Okay, well, I don't know what you call it now, but in my day it was a dime bag, $10. Okay, so. I know this in my heart that's why that boy wanted that money for. He came and bought some candy. He wanted change back. His card wouldn't work. Okay. Now he walk out the store yet again and holding up the line.
So he had to go back to the okay.
I was like, my God, why has thou forsaken me today? Okay. I said, you know what? Hey, don't worry about it. I told the cashier. And then somebody else came in and jumped us about, I got to go. Here's the money for this. What in the world? Okay.
Somebody new came in the store
somebody
and
new
right in front of y'all. Okay.
In the Family Dollar. Whoa. And I said, I'm telling the cashier, she totally confused by now. I said to her, listen, go ahead and bring it out. Okay. I'll take care of it. Bring it out.
Okay.
And so by this time, he came back in, and he was like, well, how am I going to get my change? Because what we were going to do was he was going to buy my stuff because they couldn't give him back change. And I was just going to give him the cash for it, right? But he couldn't get the card to work.
Right.
So I bought all the stuff. And the man is like, and I said, here, bro, let me sow a seed.
Okay.
He said, what is this? I said, what do you mean, what is this? Nobody's ever sowed a seed in your life, sir? He said, no. I said, well, today is your lucky day.
Right.
I'm sowing a seed in your life. God bless you.
Right.
You can't do that when you're concerned about somebody jumping you. You can't do that when you're concerned about where you are.
Right.
You have to be ready for the opportunities that God presents for the people you're assigned to.
You know that, I love that story because all it does is speak to when Pastor always says we have to use every moment we can to evangelize, and we don't understand how we think moments are small, but now you've opened the door for him to come to church, whether it's this church or any church. It's now in his head that I need to go to church.
And guess what? This lady didn't judge me. In fact, she sowed a seed.
Yep.
I know he going to buy some weed.
Yep. So we thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Lance, for your Let's Talk About It and your story, but which was very important because, like you said, you used a time where you were mad, you went where you didn't want to go, you were dealing with people you didn't want to deal with, but
like Joseph,
you used it as a time to be evangelistic, and like you say, that wasn't you. It wasn't your doing. You didn't go there because you wanted to.
Joseph didn't do the things he did because he wanted to.
He did them because he was supposed to do
so
them.
God can get the glory.
God get the glory. So thank you, Mrs. Ladd.
You're welcome.
Thank you, TI Nation, for tuning in to our Let's Talk About It segment like we do every Sunday. And you know, I'm thinking we're going to have Ms. Ladd back again. This was a good one, but you know, we'll be back next week. Here comes the church.